I consider myself a huge fan of A24, but sometimes I wonder if I'm a fan just because of the movies or because of the brand. Probably it's the aesthetic or maybe the merch or the changes that they have made, but they are special. That's why in this series we're gonna watch the most iconic movies from A24, not just to talk about the quality of these films, but to understand how this studio became what it is today. A name that defines independent cinema, stands next to Hollywood and wins awards like it's nothing. Today we go back to the beginnings of A24 and check out the first film distributed by them. Yes, just to let you know, A24 started as a distributor. And which was the first move? Spring Breakers. Okay, this controversial movie starring by former Disney stars, which is funny, throws us into a story about college girls, delinquency, and obsession with excess. By that point, A24 started making key decisions that would shape the future of the studio, and I'm so proud of that. The movie was mostly praised for its cinematography, and that's exactly where I want to start. Natural lighting, handheld camera, and long takes with no cuts. Techniques that today feel common at the movies, but back then were very bold and unconventional. In Spring Breakers, they might look simple, but the reality is that all of these shots together build a very intentional way of storytelling. And trust me when I say that that comes straight from the neorealismo italiano. Also, this is the kind of film that talks about everything and nothing at the same time. And the only way to connect is through the characters, their emotions, their relationships, and the way that the camera captures them. Honestly, that's exactly what the movie gets right. Also, I remember watching the movie and realizing that the editing and the sound were really helpful in the way that every scene was designed to make you feel, not just watch. This kind of story doesn't really follow the classic screenwriting rules, and that's fine. There is no clear structure, no traditional beginning or ending, but what I do appreciate is the intention. And especially when we have an open ending, that should mean something too. But talking about the Spring Breakers, the balance gets a little shaky. I'm not gonna lie, the first half is full of contrast, symbolisms, and creative choices. It felt really good, but the second half felt rushed. Like loose, uneven, like the movie suddenly forgot what it wanted to say. Something like that. Then there are the characters, a group of restless girls chasing for freedom, and a gangster who somehow looks more philosophical than all of them. The film flirts with themes of faith, morality, and desire, but by the end, it loses touch with its own setup. For me, the real story was with Selena Gomez's character, Fate, and when she left, the movie changed completely. And with that, everything else did too. At the end, Spring Breakers gets some really interesting things, both visually and narratively, but it also wastes a little bit its own potential. I think it could have been a more rounded and reflective story, one that stayed experimental, that's good, but also felt like complete. Still, I feel that Spring Breakers was a great starting for A24. It wasn't perfect, but it was illustrative, and that's enough. They gave me the elements or the vibe or the vision that A24 will stand for the next years. A studio that will soon become known for its bold visuals, raw storytelling, and commitment of giving the space for the new disruptive voices. So yeah, I will say that's my conclusion of the movie, but now, before finishing, let's move to the fun facts. A24 even launched a real Oscar campaign for James Franco with the slogan, "Consider this." At first, everyone thought that it was a joke, but to be honest, it wasn't. Also, it's important to say that the movie completely divided the critics. Some call it sexist, while others saw it as a feminist satire about the culture of desire. So yeah, what's your side? And in 2025, this year, the sequel was finally confirmed. The title is very curious because it's Spring Breaker Salvation Mountain. To be honest, it looks like a ride from Disney World, but of course it's not. The movie is starting by Bella Thorne and a brand new director. I don't know anything about him or her, but I do know that the first attempt for a sequel was in 2014 and it was canceled before even, they started. So what do you think? Do you know something about the sequel? Do you think it's gonna be related with the original one, or maybe it's gonna be a new whole brand story? I think that's gonna happen. Nothing more to say. I just wanna say thank you so much for staying here and see you in the next one. Bye bye.